صوت البلد سوريا.
الله محيي الجيش، الله محيي الجيش، الله محيي الجيش.
Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel testified on Capitol Hill today about U.S. involvement in Syria. He said the role of the DoD is to support broader U.S. diplomatic efforts while ensuring the U.S. military is prepared to protect America's interests and meet security commitments to the region.
The U.S. government is working to mobilize the international community, further isolate the Assad regime, and support the moderate Syrian opposition. The United States has acknowledged the Syrian opposition coalition, the SOC, as the legitimate representative of the Syrian people and committed to provide them with $117 million in non-lethal assistance, including communications and medical equipment.
Secretary Hagel also said the United States is the largest single bilateral provider of humanitarian aid to the Syrian people. Elements of the 1st Armored Division headquarters at Fort Bliss, Texas, are preparing for what's expected to be a year-long mission to Jordan. Division Commander Major General Dana Petard told reporters yesterday more than 100 soldiers will deploy from Fort Bliss to help the Jordanian military deal with the consequences of the Syrian conflict. The mission was announced earlier this week by Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel.
Since last year, a small team of U.S. military experts has been working in Jordan on planning related to chemical weapons and preventing a spillover of violence across Jordan's borders. Last week, I ordered the deployment of a U.S. Army headquarters element to enhance this effort in Amman.
Officials say the advance party is already on the ground in Amman preparing for the mission.
The U.S. is deploying an Army headquarters to Jordan. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel made the announcement yesterday during a congressional hearing on Syria. Secretary Hagel said he ordered the deployment last week to help Jordanian forces defend their border with Syria.
The Department of Defense is funding over $70 million for activities in Jordan, including providing training and equipment to detect and stop any chemical weapons transfers along its border with Syria, and developing Jordanian capacity to identify and secure chemical weapons assets.
Secretary Hagel also announced he will be traveling to Israel and other countries in the Middle East this weekend to meet with defense officials in the region. That's your TPC News Update. I'm Petty Officer Kevin O'Brien. Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel will leave tomorrow on a Middle East trip. The Secretary's first stop will be Israel, where he will meet with the Minister of Defense and President. Mr. Hagel will then travel to Jordan to receive briefings on international efforts to address the crisis in Syria. He'll then head to Saudi Arabia, Cairo, Egypt, and lastly, Abu Dhabi.